So it was one of my first times climbing international. I hadn't really been on my own before on a trip, but it was one of these really rare opportunities where I got to go to Australia, which is someplace I'd always wanted to go when I was, growing up for my entire life. And so when the opportunity knocked, I took it. And I was really lucky because I got the opportunity to climb in a place called the Arapiles, which is just this very iconic, just incredibly historic rock pile in the middle of nowhere. And so, next to actually a town called Melbourne, but anyway. So it was one of my first days there, and I was trying to warm up on this 12B, which, at that point really wasn't quite a warm up for me, but it was getting close. And they had this system that I wasn't really used to. It was taking carrots, which in Australia are just like the bolt heads, so like the hangers, and you would take them and you would put them on a bolt head that was just into the rock, and then you would take a quick draw and clip it into the hanger, and then the diameter of the quick draw would keep the bolt hanger and the bolt together, so if you fell, you'd be okay. And it was just a really efficient way of like not having to spend a ton of money on hardware. And this is one of those old areas where that was just the ethic. Well, over time, as carabiners became smaller and lighter, the diameters wouldn't keep the hanger heads on the bolts. And as I was getting into the middle of the crux, which is this very crimpy and then delicate jump to a bigger hold, I watched as the hanger wiggled off of the bolt and slid down to the next one, and I lost whatever piece of protection I had, which doubled my run out, which meant that essentially if I didn't make the next move, I was just gonna deck. Like, I was just gonna hit the ground from about 40 feet up. There was no hope of being caught because we were in this very small corridor between two large pieces of sandstone. So I couldn't down climb because I was completely poised to do this move. And I just remember going, oh God, this is not happening. This cannot be happening right now. And so I was just sitting there like worried about getting like a broken leg or a broken back or, anything else that could possibly, or, death. And so it just took all of my concentration. It took everything I could just to not focus on what could happen, but what I needed to do to try to make sure that I didn't wind up breaking everything. And so with all of that focus, I just threw for the jug and I managed to stick it, which was really nice, and get the next clip in. And I just remember having like this wave of relief hit. And, I finished the climb and I wound up being able to just kind of like relax afterwards after I was on the ground and just took a few deep breaths, and I was so glad. I was just so happy that was it. I was okay, and I was so glad that I didn't have to do that ever again.